thank you for taking the time after, I guess, this disappointing series, right?
Yeah.
Um, how do you feel like right after the series end up?
Um, mostly just sad right now, I think. Um, I think I was just on the Riot broadcast as well, and I said the same thing there that like the last couple of times I've gone out, whether that's early or late, it's been like it sucked, but it was already like we were already like at an empty tank, like we didn't have more to give. Like even if we won like the series versus TH, I don't think we would have been a great contender going into spring playoffs. Um, and and I think the big difference this time is that like the boys has developed so much over the last 2 3 weeks. Like we are gonna post our scrim results like after this this time off now. But basically we've been beating all of the top teams like the last 3 weeks. I think we've only been losing to Fnatic like consistently. So it felt very different. Like there was a lot of hope and hopium
Yeah.
within the team. Yeah.
And like talking about the series, like what went wrong, because I felt like after this 50 minutes game, you should have the momentum, right? And but after game two, it felt like you guys lost that patience and went on to force a lot of plays, even though you were in winning situations, right? So what's your take on the things that went wrong today, actually?
I think game one, like actually a lot of stuff did go wrong.
Yeah.
But for good reasons, like because we were like there were some stage jitters, like we were feeling a bit excited, like but the worst way to go out of a best of five is going out not having played the game.
Yeah.
So I was really happy, even in game one, like of course, like we won it. Game two, I think we had like probably all of our favorite champions. But I think that they played really good through side. Like I
Yeah.
think Yike found a lot of good picks through side, 2 times on top, 1 time on bot, where we just weren't matching, and I think that that gave them an edge, like in the game. Game three, I think I think was playable, but we ended up in a situation that has always been uncomfortable for us, where we don't have enough engage. Like if we don't have
Mhm.
Linas or Fleshy on primary engage, I think that we have genuinely struggled, like in scrims and officials. So there's like you can probably chalk like a lot of that down to
Okay.
to draft. And final game, uh I mean, yeah, final game I think was playable, but we had to play really well because we had like a full poke comp. They didn't have that much engage. But I also think that like early picking Jin with Casante into Jace available was probably a bit optimistic.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it's a mixture of plays and draft, I would say.
Even though you lost today, as you said, you showed clear signs of progress in summer compared to Geoda splits at least. So what made the difference? And do you think this group could have achieved more if you had had more time, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, going into today, we were so confident because we had been playing really well and been playing some good league. Like obviously, our champion pool is still like not that developed because we haven't been put in a lot of best of five. I think this was the second best of five we
Yeah.
play all year. Which meant that like once you go into game 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
that you get challenged a lot on this, and I think that we probably needed like more time in
Mm.
scrims and on stage to develop like what happens when, for example, today K Corp did such a good job of removing Blitzcrank and Pike, like they were
Yeah.
removing Engage from Fleshy. Um, but I think that giving us like this experience, if we win today, and then you have 13 days before you go to Madrid, I think we compete for the title, and I think that's why I'm extra sad right now because it was not feeling like oh okay, if we win this one we're gonna get smacked by Fnatic next week anyway.
As you said, like you were on a very good position as a team, right? This split, but do you think maybe if you didn't like stick to Ilisang at the first place in spring in winter and then went on to try something with Niski and take some kind of gamble, right? Do you think that if you removed all of that and took Fleshy from the get-go, maybe you could have had more time? Like, do you have any regrets regarding the choices you have made this year?
I mean, I guess my biggest regret is hard to say because it's all hindsight, right? Like the reason why we kept Healy in our mind
Yeah.
was that the way that we play the game and when you have seen us play well this year, like is so based on LPL playstyle. It's very aggressive. It's in your face. It's about like making the game hard for the opponent. And what we had last year was Vincent and Photon, like VTO and Photon on
Yep.
solo lanes. And these two are the detrimental
Yeah.
opposites to Chinese League of Legends.
Yeah.
They are like the OG Korean style,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the thought process of keeping Healy was that we would hire Chayek and Nak, who would slot into our Chinese style of League of Legends, and that Healy could be a role model in this playstyle.
Mm.
Um,
But maybe he took it a bit too hard on the Chinese playstyle, right?
maybe he took it a bit too far, and he definitely wasn't. He was like the big issue was that he wasn't willing to meet Linsa's like halfway, right? Because
Mm.
Linsas is also like a more conservative player. He's done so well in developing his aggression, but I think Healy did not allow him to develop at a human rate in Split 1. So I wouldn't say that it's a regret for me to keep Healy. I think that if it had clipped, if some things had gone wrong, like different, if Linas had been 10% more aggressive naturally, I think that we would just have had a good team from the start of the year. But then when it didn't work, I'm very happy that we benched him after winter, and I'm very happy that we tried with Niski. Obviously, like I first tried with Fleshy, but Visa made it
Yeah. Okay.
impossible. So no, I would say that I am
You don't have
okay
regrets.
with the
Yeah.
choices. No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. On another note, now that Vitality is out, who do you think will take the third spot for Wolves, and who do you think could win the final too? If you had to bet.
Oh, I think that I think that s- ha, that's a good one. I think KC can probably beat both GX and Fnatic, so they should take the third spot.
Okay.
I think that from scrims, probably G2 is gonna win the tournament. I think they're
Okay.
looking really solid. I think like the big missing link in the past was like where BB's champion pool was at the
Yep.
playoffs, and I think it's Giga good right now. I think he's got down all of the counters. He's got down all of his like special little niche picks.
Yep.
So I think like from a draft POV, they're in a good spot, and Caps has showed up to playoffs. So I think it's hard to beat G2.
Yeah. Also Skumon stepping up, right?
Yeah.
To close the year a bit, the org CEO Neo stepped up publicly earlier this year, as you know, to say that you and Mac will not continue the journey with Vitality if you couldn't find good results this year. So I guess top six in summer might not be good enough, even though you guys looked way better, right? So I know
Mm-hmm.
it might be a bit early to ask you about it, but what do you think is next for Mac and Pad, but also for Vitality and this group that you created?
I mean, so we'll have to have a meeting with Neo and see
Yeah,
where
sure.
we're at some point. But like what I told Mac at the at I guess after spring was that like it's time for me to try to be me when
Okay.
our contracts runs out. Like whether we get kicked here or we have like one more year together. Like if we don't get kicked, it's time for me to try to like fly by myself and see if I can use the skill set that I have developed under his tutelage. Because like it's also become very apparent that we fill a lot of the same roles at this
Mhm.
point because we've been together for so long. So I cannot tell you like
Yeah,
exactly
sure.
what's going to happen.
But you
But
you you would want to go for another story from your own, right? On
yeah,
your
I,
own.
I would want to like create my own legacy as well. So I'm not like I'm
Okay.
not just a pet, a Mac plus pet, you know.
So, if you have a final word for the fans or anything you want to say before closing the year and maybe your chapter with Vitality, well, the mic is yours.
I mean, honestly, thank you for the fans. I think they've been like so engaged with us, and it's been very similar to my old football days, where you have like fans with very big
Yeah.
opinions. But I love that. I love that they're involved. I love that they're enthusiastic. I love that they're angry when we lose. Um, I'm sorry that we couldn't replicate the recipe we had in Mad Lions and provide better results. I'm sorry that it took 5 splits for us to have a roster that we could be proud of because we weren't, right. Like I haven't been proud of my roster in the last 2 years of what we have created, but I am for this one. I believe that if we stay, I don't know what happens. That this roster have proven that we have stuff to build on to go and compete in EU, like for the best spot. Um, but yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Pad. Good luck on whatever is next for you, and rest well, I guess.
I'll try. I'll try. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
nice
much.
evening.
Bye bye. You too.
Bye.